Hi, I'm Eleanor Meyerhofer, a native Californian designer and digital strategist. In October of 1999, a few years after graduating from design school, I flew from San Francisco to Munich with a fistful of Deutschmarks, a dial-up connection, and an extremely vague plan. 20 plus years later, after a 10-year stint at a global agency, freelancing, and launching 2 online businesses, I'm still here. Now I'm talking to other expat business owners to share knowledge, stories, and inspiration for other non-Germans running businesses in Germany. Kathleen, I am going to start with the question that I ask everybody on this podcast, which is, where are you from and what is the 2-minute story of how you got to Germany?
2 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I was born in Canada and I grew up in Australia.
Mhm.
And I was an opera singer.
Wow.
And the reason I came to Germany is because I won a big singing competition in, someone's started up with the hedge trimmer. I hope that's okay.
I don't hear it. It's fine.
Oh, good, good. The reason I came to Germany is because I won this big singing competition, and the prize was a year's contract at the Opera House in Cologne. In Germany.
Wow.
And there were a lot of other things tied to this prize, like German lessons and various other perks. But I had actually, before I even won this prize, decided that I wanted to come to Germany because everyone told me, your voice is German, you need to sing German music. And so I followed what everyone said. And I was like, go to Germany. And I worked in Cologne for a year, 18 months, I think. And then my contract ended and I had fallen in love by then.
Of course.
Of course I did, with a German. So after years of commuting between Cologne and Berlin, I moved to Berlin and I've been here ever since.
Okay. Oh, the person you fell in love with was in Berlin, and that's why you were commuting.
Yeah. In fact, I met him, my now husband,
okay.
7 days after landing.
Okay. Oh, wow. So your destiny really was in Germany in every way.
It wasn't planned. It happened, but obviously it really accelerated my German learning.
Yeah.
German boyfriend, and we spoke German from the get-go, and yeah. Now we're here permanently. We both love it here. We have 2 kids. It's very much picket fence arrangement. So,
okay, great.
Yeah.
So you are the founder of Red Tape Translation. Can you tell me what that is and how you got the idea for it and the whole backstory?
Well, when my full-time job as an opera singer ended and I was looking for things to do, months and months went by. It's not necessarily easy to find work, and I got a bit bored and thought I really need another project. And I'd always heard these horror stories that people have, expats, immigrants, about moving to Germany and dealing with the foreigners office in particular and registering your address and all these kinds of things. And they always I'd go to these parties where I'd meet other English speakers and they'd just be complaining about German bureaucracy. And I had to go through it all myself. And I kind of thought, why isn't there anything out there? Why isn't anyone helping these people? And so I just brainstormed with my husband about what I could do as a sort of a pet project, a passion project, while I was waiting for the next opera singing job to come along. And I just showed up to the foreigners office in Berlin just on a Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning and looked at the line, which snaked, down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of said, does anyone need any help? Does anyone need any help in English? And of course, 10 shot in the air, and I tried to help everyone and I couldn't. I learned a lot that day.
Yeah.
I learned more that day than I've ever learned about how to do it and how not to do it and what I need to do. And the caseworkers there, they were initially very suspicious of why I kept going into rooms and helping people. Like, what are you doing? And then eventually they said, I said, I'd really like to start a business doing this. I want to help people. I want to be an interpreter and translator. And they said, okay, well, this is what you need to do. And we'll see you next time. And gave me a lot of information. And so I went away and I just started. And then it just kind of grew.
So were you just helping people translate the German on the forms? It was just straight translation, or how were you helping
Started
people?
out with me just going to appointments with people, and
Okay.
specifically at the coroner's office. That's how I started.
Okay.
Is I had this evil word in my head, the Ausländerbehörde, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, what I'm going to focus on. I originally thought, oh, I'll get an office right next to the Ausländerbehörde, and then I can just pop out and go with people to their appointments and pop in again. That never happened, but that's what I focused on, and the demand was so big because no one else was doing it
Right.
that people started to ask me, can you also do this? Can you also translate documents? Can you also come to my appointment? I'm getting married. Can you also
Mhm.
come doing this? And I just kind of said yes to everything and, well, whatever I could. And it just kind of grew. So now it's not just interpreting at
Mhm.
people's documents, it's
Mhm.
also translating documents, usually stuff to do with red tape, with bureaucracy, because
Mhm.
that's the company name I chose. So
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
birth certificates and marriage certificates and things like that. And we also, over the years, we've gathered so much expertise from going to public offices with
Right.
people that we started coaching them as well.
Okay.
Have online coaching sessions on, how to submit your applications and what to do if you want to get married in Germany, or how to set up your business as a freelancer and what to look out for and how to do bookkeeping and just a whole bunch of things. Whatever I feel I've gathered lots of expertise in doing, I can
Okay.
other people, and other people have come on board. And we also have a virtual office service for businesses as well. So if people are starting a business and they need an address and they're working from home and they don't
Oh,
want to
right. And their Impressum, they don't wanna put their home address on their Impressum. Yeah. Okay. And do you only work with people in Berlin, or do you help people Germany-wide?
no, all over Germany.
I mean,
More so Germany than any other country, although sometimes I talk to people who are still in the States or Australia or New Zealand
mhm.
or Canada or plenty of other countries, and they're thinking of moving to Germany, and I work with them at
Okay.
that stage.
Mhm.
But most of our clients are already here in Germany, but they're not just in Berlin, they're all over the
They're
place.
all over. Okay, now I'm gonna ask a totally self-interested question.
Okay.
I just took my citizenship test.
Congrats.
Um, and, like, I'm talked to the LMU for, like, I passed the B1 test, like, 8 million years ago, and they gotta get it out of cold storage. But do you
Mhm.
help people also with that process?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
To a limited degree, because
Okay.
there is this complicated, rule or a law in Germany called the Out of Court Legal Services Act, which means I can't give people we can't give people legal advice. They have to go to
Okay.
a lawyer for legal advice,
Okay.
but I work together with an immigration lawyer now, so that if you've already sought legal advice if you need it, or determined you don't need it, you just need help with your application for citizenship, then yeah, I'll
Mm,
talk you through the whole
okay.
process and figure out how to, yeah, do all of that.
Haven't
Gather
even
the
started that yet. I just know there's gonna be, but although somebody told me it was, like, online, it was amazing, it was super easy, you just have to, like, wait forever. So, we'll see.
correct. I myself applied for German citizenship in October 2024. So
Mhm.
coming up to the first year anniversary of my application, and I
Okay.
had that thing.
Okay, yeah, that was the other thing the person said, like, there's no transparency into, like, where it is working its way through the
Yeah, some people
bowels.
get citizenship in 2 months, and other people it takes 18 months.
Yeah, I had a guy from Nepal on the podcast, and he lives in Freising, and he said it took him 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I thought, "Oh, well, I'll just apply there," but then you have to apply where you're angemeldet, so I was like, "Oh, because 'cause I'm stuck
Although
in Munich."
I do know of people who have quite literally re-registered their address just so that they can deal with a different office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, it'll all happen. So, the next question I have is, do you see an uptick of immigration to Germany, especially among English speakers and maybe
Yes.
Americans?
Americans, I know, yes.
Yeah.
In particular, we have a lot of clients, and I've noticed this in the last maybe, I don't know, 12 months.
Yeah.
Wonder what this will be. Um, a lot of Americans are leaving the States and choosing
Mhm.
Germany as the place they wanna settle, and getting in touch and saying, "Help me do this." Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed there's a bunch of Substacks and blog. I've I don't know if it's just me noticing more or if there's like a big expansion of these like move to Europe, leave America kind of podcasts or, communities, courses, blogs, the whole thing.
Yeah,
And a couple of people that I know have asked me, and it's sort of like, well, yes, it is amazing. There is amazing healthcare, but you cannot waltz in here and not be in the system and
that's true.
do, there were some hard years in the beginning when I came here, and it's not,
Yeah.
I mean, just the psychological hard part, but the all the paperwork, all the stuff. So how easy is it for foreigners right now to get a residence permit and then also get a freelance visa if they don't have the language or qualifications that are recognized, et cetera?
Well, I first of all, the to get a residence permit, there has to be some sort of reason for you to
Mhm,
company, be that freelance work or a skilled and qualified job, or you want to study, or in some cases, you might even be able to get an unskilled job. But there always has to be a reason
mhm,
associated,
mhm,
and s- it's very difficult if you just want to come to Germany, but you don't really have anything lined up, and you just
mhm,
want to live off your savings or just
mhm,
kind
mm.
of full. It doesn't compute here.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
a reason. Um, but if I, in comparison to some other countries, I actually think it's easier to get
Mhm,
a permit in Germany and also a lot cheaper to get a residence permit in Germany. For
mm,
example, I'm taking Australia as an example.
mhm,
Visas in Australia cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and take many, many months and are
mhm.
very strict. And to get a residence permit here for 3 years will cost you somewhere between 100 and 150 euros.
Okay.
Um, so it's cheaper, and I also think it's pretty reasonable. And there aren't any quotas that I'm aware of. So
Mhm,
if you fulfill, like if your application is complete and you fulfill the criteria, you will get the permit.
mhm,
Um, yeah. So I guess that's kind of a bit of a balanced response. And you were
mhm,
talking specifically about freelancers. Even if even if you're self-employed, you still have to show the foreigners office that you are skilled and qualified and that you have a good chance of success. So although you don't necessarily have to get your qualifications recognized as a freelancer, it still helps your application very much to have qualifications, or at
okay.
least some work experience in the area that you want to work in.
So that's so say you're living outside of Germany and you wanna come here and work as a freelancer, and do you have to prove that there's some need for your services in Germany? Like, or just like, I have clients all over the world and I want to live in Berlin.
The easiest way, the way to make your application the strongest is to have work lined up in Germany already and to show the foreigners office that you do have skills and training and qualifications in the kind of work that you're trying to offer. Some professions are not protected, which means technically you could just wake up one day and decide, gee, I'm going to be an interpreter now, which is exactly what I did.
Mhm,
But I did not have to deal with an immigration authority because I was already married at that point,
mhm, okay,
to a German. Um, if you're trying to get a residence permit or a visa to do some sort of freelance work, then you have to look at, well, what kind of work, and are you skilled? Are you qualified? Do you have work experience? And then do you have work lined up with clients who are in Germany, be they businesses or people or free
mhm,
other freelancers? But the way to make your application the strongest is to actually show them that you are going to make money in Germany because you've got this work already lined up and this is what they're already committing to pay you.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
eh,
So it's not a walk in the park. You can't just go, gee, I'm going to be a freelance, I don't know, dog walker
yeah,
and come over here. And also having clients in other countries, having income from other countries is usually not even considered. You know,
okay, okay,
once you get the permit, you can have clients in
yeah,
other countries, but it's not gonna help you get the permit in the first place because it's not showing how you're line of work is going to benefit Germany
Right.
economically, culturally. Yeah.
Are there some sectors that they're really prioritizing over others?
Sure, there are a whole bunch of professions that are in demand, although it really depends on whether a particular profession would usually be employed or whether it's normal for them to be
Right.
self-employed. For I'll give you an example. Berlin, in
Mhm.
particular, and also Hamburg to an extent, will automatically make be very lenient, I guess, or
Mhm.
favor applications from people who work in artistic professions, because
Really?
Berlin is seen as a cultural metropole. Metropole? I'm not even
Yeah,
sure if
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah. Okay.
it
I know.
is.
Yes. Yeah.
And so people who work in freelance artistic professions and also language teachers, funnily enough,
Mhm.
even if they don't have, the work lined up like another applicant would have to have, they might still let them come and do their job. It's very much at the discretion of the caseworker, but
Okay.
artistic professions, particularly in Berlin and Hamburg, it can be easier to get it put through, to get it approved.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
I have a theory, and maybe you can confirm or deny or just say I have no idea. I actually had what I, in retrospect, was an astonishingly easy time. This was like 1999. I came on a tourist visa.
Yeah.
I had a degree in design. At the time, I was a web designer, and this was like Web 1.0, so it was a very like new profession. I think I was lucky that I had a nice person at the Behörde, but she just kept giving me another 6 months, another year, and saying, "Well, you gotta find a job or get married." I mean, they were very insistent that I had to get healthcare for sure, but, uh, they just kept extending my time, and then I did get a job at an agency, and then I got my Arbeits it was, like, not a big problem, and my theory is because Germany is getting so old and they need young professionals to come in, or is that just, like, I just had dumb luck?
Which city were you in? Munich, that's right, you said that.
Yeah,
Um, I have noticed things tightening over the years also because there are more and more
yeah,
people
yeah,
moving to Germany.
yeah.
I've been doing this for 15, 16 years
Mhm.
now, or maybe 15 years, something like that,
Yeah,
and things did not seem as regulated when I started as they are now. It
okay.
was easier to get an unskilled job, for example, as it is now. Mind you, my experience is mainly with Berlin.
Mhm.
I used to see people getting in even if they forgot to get a health insurance policy, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not the case anymore. So my experience is that things have become more difficult,
Okay,
but
okay,
I still think it's easier comparatively in
okay,
than it is in other countries.
okay, okay. Um, and I was looking on your website, and you suggested that freelancers, if you wanna freelance in Germany,
Mm,
you should think about what you'd earn per hour as an employee and multiply it by 2.5 to 3 times.
yeah,
W
I stand by that.
and do you mean brutto or netto?
Oh,
Sorry.
sure.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. And that is because when you're an employee, there are a whole bunch of costs that get covered
Right.
by your employer, or at least 50%.
Yeah,
All your social contributions, your
yeah.
vacation, your sick pay, things like
Mhm.
that. It's all covered and it's all part of your salary, and and your tax, it automatically gets
Mhm.
deducted. You don't have to think about it. And when you're a freelancer, you do all of that stuff yourself, and it's a lot of freelancers don't even think about it because they
Yeah,
don't have to yet. For example, pension is a good example. Um, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you don't think about
right.
pension. At least that's my experience. I only started thinking about it
Yeah,
when I was in
right.
my 20s.
Yeah.
Um, and so you come and you might, let's say you're working as a language teacher, and a typical freelance language teaching job might be €20 an hour. and that might seem like it's enough, but once you figure out, oh, okay, you're a teacher, you have to pay your own health insurance,
Yeah.
you have to pay all of your pension, and as a teacher, that's an example where you are forced to pay
Uh-huh.
into pension. No one pays you when you're sick, no one pays you when you take holiday.
Mhm.
When you calculate all of those costs, plus, of course, you have to do all your own bookkeeping and et cetera.
Mhm.
The costs are enormous, and I believe that in Germany, they're higher than in other
Yeah.
countries.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure because I've only ever lived
Yeah.
in Australia and Germany, but a lot of freelancers will take the 15 or 20 euro a gig, a job, 20 euro an hour gig, and think, oh yeah, I can live on this.
Mhm.
And if you're freelancing on the side, or if you don't plan to be in Germany for a long time, or if it's only a sort of a temporary thing, or if you're a student, then sure, it's great. But if you're trying to make a career and then have enough to live on when you retire, it's not feasible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, plenty of tax agencies have done calculations and sort of determined that a healthy freelance rate is 70 euros an hour plus.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but that's not the reality of what freelance work looks like, especially not in Berlin.
In Germany, yeah, in certain fields. Yeah, as we were talking before we started recording, I mentioned that I had worked at an agency here for 10 years before I went freelance, and I was privately insured, all that stuff, and then when I suddenly had to pay that on my own, I was like, "Oh my god, this is like 800 euros a month."
It's a huge shock.
It's a
Yeah,
huge shock, but then I got on the KSK,
brilliant. Yeah.
which really if you're in the visual professions, even if you're an Instagram influencer, PR, you can get on this thing, Künstlersozialkasse.
Künstlersozialkasse, yeah, we help people with applications.
Good, because that application it was a bear, but I did it. And
Yeah.
they pay all of your pension, all of
Uh-huh.
your health insurance, and that was the one time I was allowed to go on to gesetzlich. So
Yes.
I got off private, went on gesetzlich. I have not noticed any difference. It's, like, been fine with Techniker, that's who I'm with. But that goes up and down. Like, when I have really good years, I pay a lot, and you have to kind of do um
It's based on your income, yeah.
yeah, and you have to kinda do a forecast of
Yeah.
what you think you'll earn, and they do it, and they do audit you. And so I've been optimistic before. I'm like, "Do I get anything back?" And they're like, "No, no."
You've been audited? I've been audited.
Yeah, they just
For
say,
them.
"Send me your." I mean, it's easy. You just send in your taxes, and I, like, completely overpaid. It's fine. Um,
It's
because I think I
easy
also didn't
if
understand that
you're doing the right
you
thing
had to,
and,
estimate your profit, and I had done my whole thing,
ah,
which was
okay, got
dumb, but whatever. But then when I was pregnant and had a baby, I paid almost nothing. Like, I wasn't, I was on Elternzeit, I was not making any money, so, that's fine, that's fair. But yeah, and for your pension and all that, I mean, I
yeah,
think on top of that, but yeah,
yeah, if you can get into the KSK, you'll be in it for life, or at
yeah,
least as long as your job is still artistic in nature and
yeah.
still freelance in nature, and it is an absolute lifesaver for many, many people who work in artistic professions or PR or journalism. It's the difference between being able to run a business and not being able to run a
Is there
business.
anything is there anything like that for, like, non-artistic professions, or is it just a lucky thing?
Not that I'm aware of, no. France has something similar for
Okay,
artists.
okay,
Um, no. So if you don't work in an artistic profession, then you're stuck with 100% of your health insurance.
mhm,
And if you pay pension, and some professions have to pay pension and others don't, then 100% of your pension payments as well.
yeah. Whew.
Yeah, and it's a lot.
Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
lot.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the other thing with the aging population, more younger people supporting it.
Yep.
All right. Okay, what else did I wanna Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about you and you're building the business. So you started out
Mhm.
scrappy at
Yep.
line migration
Absolutely.
office, and now I looked on the site, you've got a team. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about how you built your business and the evolution of just,
Yeah.
doing it
Well, it
yourself and
started,
building a business.
it started as a side project, and it was
Mhm.
supposed to to be that I interpreted in Berlin. And then when I got an amazing singing gig, I'd just block off my calendar and
Yeah.
pop off and sing something, and then I'd come back and it got bigger, and then I had a baby,
Mhm.
and so I got someone to sort of fill in on the appointments while I went off and had a baby.
Mhm.
And then so then there were two of us, and then there were three of us, and then there were four of us, and then I was trying to be an opera singer at the same time.
Mhm.
So it was all getting a bit much, and eventually I decided to just put the singing on hold, go off and have another baby. And by that time, it was pretty much a full-time job, red tape translation,
Mhm.
and the singing sort of faded away. I still occasionally sing a little bit. But by that time, the team had grown. I'd had a couple of administration assistants, and I'd had some freelance translators and interpreters. And yeah, it took a very long time to grow. Like it's still just me and a very, very, very small team. Um, but I have an office now, which is
Mhm.
really nice,
Mhm.
and that I can start this virtual office service for businesses as well. And we train interns as well in translating and interpreting as part of what we do. And it's a really nice team. Yeah, I don't have any huge plans to make it any bigger than it is. I'm really happy with the way it is right now. It suits my lifestyle and it suits everyone else who works here. So we're just, as long as it continues like this, we are very happy.
And what was the process like? I mean, obviously, you're not a sole proprietor anymore, like, just
Oh, yes.
yeah.
So I started off as a freelancer.
Mhm.
And I did that, and this is not necessarily known to everyone, even if you're a freelancer, you can hire people, you can have employees. So I did that. I had employees as administration assistants, and then at some point it just got a little bit too big, and I got a
Mhm.
little bit nervous about it because someone said to me, as a freelancer, I remember this conversation. It was another translator. He was like, "Yeah, as a freelancer, you always have one foot in jail all the time." And
What? Ugh.
I kind of went home and went, "Oh my
Yeah.
god." Yes, which, I went home and worried a lot about that. And then I decided, "Okay, I'll make it into a limited liability company."
So
And
a
in Ger
GmbH?
well, in Germany, you have 2 options. You can
Yeah.
do the GmbH, but only if you have a lot of capital, and
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
have any capital. So the mini version is called a UG,
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
and, it is exactly the same as a GmbH, but you can start it with a euro if you want
Right.
to. It's
Right.
based on a system that they have in the UK, where you can start a business with a pound.
It's like in the US, they have the LLC.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
same thing.
So
Okay.
that's what I started with. It is basically just a mini GmbH.
Yeah.
But another thing that I learned is that you can't hire yourself. See, I was really hoping that if I made an LLC, I could hire myself and pay myself a salary, and then the company would pay my pension and my health
Mhm.
insurance like a regular employee. And then I
Mhm.
realized you can only do that if you're not uh, more than 50% shareholder, because
Okay.
otherwise it's like making a contract with yourself, which
Okay. Okay.
that was a big disappointment. And it kind of made me go, "Gee, why did I bother doing that?"
Mhm.
But I still like it.
Well, doesn't it also protect all your private assets?
Yeah. Well, that's the
So, yeah.
well, unless I do something terribly,
Yeah.
wrong, then
Yeah.
yes, it does protect
Yeah.
private assets, and that was, I guess, the motivation for starting it, and also because it looks bigger, it looks more
Yeah.
professional, it may is better to win people's trust, and if you want bank loans and things like that, and you
Yeah.
have a liability company, it can be a little bit easier for them to trust you. Yeah.
Okay. And what about, like, the idea of having employees is a nightmare to me. I managed teams for a while, and that was like, yeah, no thanks. Like, how has the transition been from you on your own to running a team?
HR is my least favorite bit of the job. It is an from a just the things that you have to learn about, employment law and,
Mhm.
salaries and wages, especially in
Mhm.
in Germany. It has been the biggest and steepest learning curve for me.
Mhm.
But I do it all on my own. I don't have that. I have 5 employees, so it's
Mhm.
not a huge, volume,
Mhm.
but it's still a lot of work, and it still makes my head hurt every time I do it. Every time I have to figure out holidays and holiday pay and, vacation and sick days and all these calculations
Oh my
and then
god.
I just went through my first oh, no, it's actually my second pension audit.
Uh-huh.
Every 4 years, you get audited by the Deutsche Rentenversicherung, the
Yeah.
pension
Yeah.
company, and, that was really interesting because I thought, "Okay." I used to outsource all the HR stuff to a tax office, and then
Uh-huh.
when the UGI decided I'll give it a go with, Lexware,
I was
LexOffice.
gonna say, is there software that does it? Okay.
There
Yeah.
is.
I took a look at Lexware.
Yeah, I was really curious to know whether me working with a software was going to get me into trouble or whether I'd actually done a decent job.
Mhm.
And whew, it worked out okay. Like
Okay.
a pension audit of 4 years of me working with LexOffice turned out to be not too bad.
Okay. Okay.
I'm doing all right. I still need to consult with a tax office every now and again, like as in with my tax advisor, just because there are still things that are too complicated for me to deal with alone with LexOffice and even with their support team. Sometimes things just come up to do with part-time and with Künstlersozialkasse and, sometimes it can be a real nightmare at times, and sometimes you still need expert advice from people, but, well, yeah, I'm doing alright.
Alright. Don't
HR.
you think I mean, kudos to you, man. Like, that that sounds so bad to me, like, oh my goodness. Um, I spend €200 a month on a Steuerberater
Yeah.
because I have different revenue streams and it just accountable, those things don't work for me. And I
Mhm.
looked at Lex where I did all this and all, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just fine with the €200 a month. Like
Fine. Yep.
it's worth it because I'm gonna just spend all my time doing this. Um, but this seems like an area that is very ripe for AI. Like, because it's all this just arcane knowledge that you have to know that isn't nuance. It's just rules and laws and all of these things, and I will believe the hype when,
Mhm.
like, I can just shove everything in a folder and be like, "Do it." But it just seems like this is,
As
yeah,
well, yeah, funny. I know that LexOffice uses a lot of AI with
yeah,
the especially with its troubleshooting,
mhm,
processes, and I outsourced everything to a tax advisor for about, yeah, for the first 13 or so years of
mhm,
my time in Germany, and then my husband said, "Why don't we do it ourselves?" And it's, it's easy enough for him to say because he's an
yeah,
employee.
yeah,
Um, and it took a couple of years of convincing, but then I finally went, "Oh, okay, we'll try to do it on our own. We'll see how it goes." And we took the tax advisors last year and kind of did it ourselves.
mhm,
We Oh my god, I had this awful experience with the tax office because the woman assigned to my case at the tax office was just in a very bad mood and just took it
mhm,
all out on me and
mhm.
yelled at me and threatened me with Zwangsgeld
Oh.
and said that my name would be associated with trouble from now on, just because of one tiny little thing that I did that I wasn't even aware of.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
I almost backed out and went, "Okay, we're never doing that again." But then I
Mhm,
thought, "No, if I can handle that, I can handle anything." And so
mhm,
now, for the first time, I'm doing it we're doing it on our own. So my husband and I sit down every year and we do it with Elster.
mhm.
Uh, and it kind of it's not my favorite part of life, but,
Yeah,
we do often use AI to help us with the forms,
yeah,
on line 70, it says this, what exactly does that mean?
yeah.
I found it to be very helpful.
This it has been a game changer in so many ways. I was on another podcast. I interviewed a guy named Tarek who co-founded CoTasker, and he's Palestinian but originally from Syria, and he was just saying like, he couldn't do half the things he does without AI, like the language translators, the German law translators, and I was thinking about it, and I mean, it sort of felt gradual, but it's like, yeah, I do so much stuff now with DeepL. I mean, it's kinda made me very lazy,
Yeah.
but even just getting the BVAs, I'm just, like, asking chat questions, and it has made things not easy, but much easier.
Absolutely. Yeah, we use it for work as well here, in a whole bunch of, formats. For example, if I'm interpreting
Mhm.
and, I have to go into a 3-hour meeting that's going to be about, I don't know, just some topic that I'm not necessarily an expert on, that used to involve lots and lots of research and,
Mhm.
manually creating a glossary, and
Mhm.
now I can feed, agendas or documents or into a tool or into DeepL, and create a glossary for me of all the terms that I should, and, put the English term next to them, so go into this meeting feeling prepared.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Um, can you tell me just, like, what is you said you interpret, you're doing all the admin stuff, like, what's a typical work week look like for you?
Oh, okay. Well, part of it is proofreading, as in, a lot of the translations here. The translations that we do are generally court sworn certified translations.
Mhm.
That's the core of the business, I guess, and the interpreting as well. So I might proofread some translations that someone else in the office has done. I might create some translations myself from German into English or English into German. We use a lot of, yeah, we've got lots of documents that are ready to go for that. So proofreading and post editing, which is kind of, it's like fixing machine translation
Mm.
content.
Yeah, okay, right.
Then I might go to an appointment at the immigration office with someone and help them get a permit, or I might go to a wedding and help someone get married, or someone's buying an apartment in Germany and needs an interpreter there to sign the
The
contract.
notar.
That's a typical 3-hour meeting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those things I really enjoy because it gets me out, it gets me meeting people, it's human. There's a lot of more human involvement, so I
Mhm.
really enjoy that part of it. Then I might then there's a bit of admin involved in, for example, employees, HR sort of stuff, or the virtual address service. We get mail, we scan mail in, and we have AI and automated systems in place so that it automatically goes to the right recipient and things like that. I'm kind of Mädchen für alles, as
Okay.
in do whatever needs to be done.
Right, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And, I noticed that you have, like, an online course
Yeah.
for so, like, I can understand you probably wanted to have some other revenue streams that don't rely on, like,
Yeah.
you and your team. So tell me a little bit about that course.
Well, we did that because, we were doing a lot of coaching sessions with people on how to get a freelance permit specifically.
Mhm,
That's because we work with so many freelancers and not many
mhm,
other people.
mhm.
Time to work with
Yeah,
freelancers for
yeah.
me. We were getting quite well known for that, and, the individual coaching sessions were starting to feel like I was always giving the same information.
Right, right.
Wouldn't it be great if
Yeah.
I could make a course, like a really in-depth do-it-yourself course on how to do your freelance visa
Mhm,
application, that's residence permit application. And so it took us about a year, and we got together with some immigration lawyers who checked the content for us to make sure correct. And we recorded a bunch of videos, and we have like typical application form examples, and we tell you how to fill out
mhm,
forms, talk to you about different types of work and what it means, and ensure it's very complex. It's about
mhm,
there's probably about the video course is probably about 2.5 hours, or plus lots of downloadable things,
mhm,
and of course you can talk to us as well if you need anything clarified. And yeah, it's basically an alternative. It's for people who like the challenge of doing it themselves,
mhm,
or don't necessarily want to pay an
mhm.
immigration because they maybe don't need to get. legal advice. They just need help doing the actual application process. Yeah, so it's out there if anyone wants to use it.
And have you tried to like really make a big product and like advertise, like do search marketing for it? Or is it like a downsell when people come to you and it's on the site and they can use it? Like, how have you marketed it?
To be honest, the marketing has been somewhat slim. We've
Okay.
barely, we've barely marketed it at all.
Okay. Okay.
So not many people know it exists,
Okay.
and marketing is not my strong point. So
Okay.
I have someone helping me, but
Yeah.
it is that particular course kind of missed out.
Okay. Okay. Of
So
marketing.
to be continued as to
Okay.
how we market this course. But if anyone on your podcast, the podcast wants to have a look at the
I
course,
will
then
put a link in the show notes because I'm surprised. It seems to be that that would be like a
it's
product that would go
brilliant.
gangbusters
Well,
because
it's a very niche, people who want to be freelancers in Germany. It's a kind of a niche market, but
yeah.
exactly what you do, and for the same reasons, it's a bit of a passion project. Freelancers are my people and your people
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
And the actual content in this course is really it took us a year or 2 years to get it all together, and it's basically just everything that we've learned um, out there for anyone to use.
Okay.
I think it's brilliant. I'm just not quite sure how to market it.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll do what I can. I just feel like I'm in so many Facebook groups and communities, and people are asking all these questions all the time, and everybody has, like, a little piece of the puzzle,
Yeah, they do.
but then everybody has a kind of very specific situation,
Mm.
um,
Yeah, that is
so
one of the problems, I guess, working in this field at all is that n giving you people who give you advice, their situation is always gonna be slightly different to yours, and there are gonna be slightly different rules that
right,
apply.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So there is that's why there's this law in Germany that says you're really supposed to go to an immigration lawyer if you want legal advice.
Yeah.
That law is a big, big pain for the entire relocation industry.
Oh, wow. Okay,
We
yeah.
really want to help people, but we're limited in what we can do. Yeah.
Oh, Germany.
Yeah.
Uh, so, bringing this all home, you said you have an office. So, does your whole team work in the office, or are they partly remote?
A lot of us are remote. I have employees in Berlin, and they prefer to work from home. So
Okay.
the office is just a little one. I'm always here. There might be an intern here. Some people come in just a couple of days a week.
Mhm.
There are usually one or two people in the office.
Okay.
All the
Okay.
Yeah.
And before you had the office, did you work at home?
No, I went through every co-working space in
Oh,
Berlin, and I tried them all out, and I was there. I was here for a couple of years. Moved here. I was at Factory Berlin, which is a big one, and that worked out really well. But then Corona hit, and things
mhm.
changed, and so I've tried a lot of co-working spaces out over the years, and eventually it just got too I just needed my own office for privacy because I was coaching,
Yeah.
it's and the phone booths, just
Right.
not
I'm in my own little office right now. But I'm experimenting with a new question. So,
yeah.
out of all the co-working places you tried in Berlin, which was your favorite?
I actually loved Factory,
Okay.
uh, but it was because of the food.
Okay. Hey, totally legit.
Yeah, they had this cafe restaurant downstairs, and I just loved the food was so good, and it was healthy, and it was
Mhm,
delicious, and I was just always there. Um I ended up leaving because of Corona and also
mhm.
the network issues. There were internet issues, and I couldn't reliably have video calls with people.
Okay.
But oh, I miss the food so
Okay.
much.
Yeah, I know. I had to get a little fridge because I was like, "What do I eat?" I have to, like, have stuff on hand. Um, alright, well, the final question I like to ask is, and you can kind of take it either way, like, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently? And or what are kind of a few pieces of advice you'd give to anybody starting or
Mm,
own business in Germany beyond what you've already shared?
well, okay, let me think about this just for a second. If I had to do it again, I don't think I would do anything different. This is, the company and the way that it grew. It was snail's pace, and I often make a joke that it took 15 years, and like there are companies out there that accelerate at the
Right.
speed of lightning, but I did it while being an opera singer and while having 2 babies and raising them and trying to do a million things at once, and so it was
Mhm.
never you know, I did it in a way that suited my lifestyle at that time of my life and always has, and I wouldn't even if I'm never gonna be rich, I still wouldn't change that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm really happy with the way my work and my life balance,
Mhm.
to call it, it's brilliant. I'm very relaxed and a lot happier than I would be if I had, set working hours or an employer or something like
Right.
that. So I wouldn't change anything. Um, in terms of advice that I have for people, you mean people who are thinking of starting businesses or going freelance in Germany?
Yeah, or even have already started, like.
Ooh, yeah. There are so many phases that you go through when you start a business, and there are all these learning curves, especially about doing it in Germany. Germany is my home, and it's where I belong, and I feel very happy here, and so I'm very happy that I was able to find a way to make it work. Germany does not suit everyone who is starting a business or trying to be an entrepreneur or a freelancer.
Yeah.
Some people just give up and go to a different country that has
Mhm.
much conditions. So I guess if someone is committed to Germany because they love it and it's the place they want to live or their family is, then I don't know, what would my advice be? Just, hang in there, get as much good advice as you can. Don't always trust what AI tells you.
Yeah.
And I would say use all the resources that are out there. There is now, there wasn't when I started,
Yeah.
but now there are so many programs and courses and resources, free and paid, that can help you do all of this. And I would just take all the help you can get if you're trying to do this in Germany, if you're trying to run a business.
All right. Well, Kathleen, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. That was fun.
Thanks for listening. You can find this and all other Germany Expat Business Show podcasts at thegermanylist.de. Bye.